I'm Shelby, and this is a salad of thought I've tossed together on Doom Eternal. It's something I planned on buying, but then I told myself I didn't need it. However, I did build myself a computer last year, and I'm always looking for things to play on PC, so I ended up giving this a shot, and I'm very glad I did. I loved 2016's Doom for many reasons, but I want to list them here because that's what the review of it is for. So I'll put a link to that in the description. Instead, I want to take this time to ramble about Doom Eternal. At first, I wasn't crazy about it, the story didn't make sense. Then again, does it need to? Because it's Doom. You don't play Doom for the story. Though about halfway through, it really started to grow on me. Like a gore nest on Earth, though with slightly less demons involved. Still, Doom is about action.
Can someone kill this idiot, please?
Doom Eternal is all about killing demons. Whether you're shooting with buckshot, plasma bolts, or whatever the hell a BFG 9000 shoots. There's also a healthy dose of ripping and tearing demons apart with your bare Praetor gauntlets. Whatever. Thankfully, while your foes in Doom Eternal are even deadly on lower difficulties, id Software saw it fit to give the player helpful tidbits about how to turn each demon into little bits. These tips are vital to pay attention to, since while ammunition is plentiful in the future hellscape of Earth and beyond, it's entirely possible to overextend yourself if you aren't careful. That's why it's really important to take advantage of the whole ripping and tearing tactic. Each demon poses a unique threat with their own strengths and weaknesses. Some are more strength than weakness, though. Others are basically chainsaw fodder. I'm actually not kidding about that last part. I think the developers deliberately put weak demons in some areas just to make it possible for you to kill them with a chainsaw to restock on ammo. One thing that became abundantly clear to me is how quickly you can be overwhelmed. Movement is definitely key, as well as an apt use of your grenades and equipment launcher, which is good, because blowing things up is always a blast. Putting a little distance between you and your enemies can only give you a little breathing room, but can make it possible for you to change tactics. So it's important to keep moving so you can give the hellspawn a taste of their own entrails. As you might imagine, the guns are all a treat to play with too. Almost every weapon has a primary attack, as well as multiple secondary attacks. My personal favorite is the super shotgun with its meat hook. It acts as a grappling hook that pulls you towards your victim, so you can apply a 2-shot blast directly to the forehead. And once it's upgraded, it becomes even more versatile. And basically every weapon has the same outcome with upgrades, so make sure to experiment.
Please remain calm. You may notice a slight change in the environment. Fear not. It's all part of the plan.
Unfortunately, I did run into a few bugs that varied in severity. Strangely, I ran into all these bugs on the Art Complex level. The biggest game-breaking bug I found was where an arachnid demon got trapped on the other side of a barrier that's put there to keep the player in a makeshift combat arena. It can be a problem if the demons are behind said barriers, since while the demons can move freely through them, the player can't. You can't even shoot through them. I don't want to make it sound like the few bugs I ran into are deal breakers at all. In fact, this is probably one of the least buggy games I've played. All in all, I ran into only one bug that halted my progress entirely, forcing me to reload for a previous checkpoint. Thank God for checkpoints. The rest were, at worst, funny, irritating, confusing, or some amalgamation of the three. Perhaps the weirdest one I noticed was one I didn't even notice until I started looking through my game footage. When I fought the first Marauder, I was panicking a little, and I didn't notice he flew up into the air and clipped into the ceiling. Thankfully, he died on his own, but it was weird to say the least.
Oh, my brothers and sisters. Something wonderful is coming. Something truly wonderful.
If there's a good and bad of Doom Eternal, it's the collectibles. I know most games have things like this in them, but most of them feel like checkboxes that just exist to be ticked. You find toys and records everywhere, but along with these are actually cheat codes you can unlock. That's cool, I guess. If only there was more of that and less of the useless stuff. The more functional collectibles are what makes exploring actually worth it, like the Slayer keys. Slayer keys are used to unlock special, far more difficult challenge encounters. If you complete every Slayer challenge, you get a very special gun. And no, you can't use the cheats to do the challenges. Other collectibles include Sentinel batteries, of which you can usually find 1 or 2 of in each level. They're generally well hidden, but they're definitely worth looking for since they're used in the Space Palace. None of them are a particular pain to find, at least. Speaking of, throughout the Orbital Castle are these closets that unlock various upgrades or cosmetic items. While every Doom closet takes 2 batteries to unlock, it's worth it to do so, since the upgrades will help you on your quest to destroy Hell's minions. Still, I wonder why they didn't place these unlockable items in the levels themselves. Perhaps it was to make the Doom base worth exploring? Yeah, that's probably it. One thing I'll have to put out there is that Doom Eternal is absolutely littered with platforming sections. Many of the collectibles in the game require you to take part in the platforming to obtain them, which can sometimes be a pain. While I personally didn't find it to be a problem, if that's something that puts you off, you may want to take the time to consider it. I never found the platforming to be too difficult since the paths you're meant to take are pretty obvious, but the sheer number of sections like this stuck out to me, and it becomes more prevalent with each level.
Embrace your suffering, learn advocates. Beyond the pain, there is enlightenment.
Of course, there's plenty of reason to spend your time jumping around because the only way you're going to stand a chance against the forces of hell is if you upgrade as much as possible. And what more is there to say, though? I mean, you spend points on upgrading your suit and your guns, and have additional perks you can unlock. Quite frankly, this is the most boring part. There's really not much to say. I mean, you collect points, and you spend them. That's about it. And you don't get to see the Doom Marine punch robots anymore. So, yeah, what's with that?
Have an emergency. Just dial 6 3 times on your mobile phone, and a UAC representative will be glad to assist you.
Doom Eternal is one of those games that turned out to be a roller coaster for me. At first, I assumed it would just be more of Doom 2016, and in a way, it has been. As a commenter on my written thoughts of Doom Eternal stated, Doom Eternal is more story, more colors, more locations, more enemies that are more aggressive, more platforming, more upgrade paths, and more unlockables. And they aren't wrong. That's Doom Eternal in a nutshell. It's great if you're looking for more Doom, but not if you're looking for more Doom. Wait, oh, that doesn't make sense. The best way I can put it is if you're looking for a new version of Doom 2016, you might be disappointed. Doom Eternal expands on the ideas of Doom 2016, for better and for worse. If there were parts of Doom 2016 you didn't like, then there's a chance that you might like those parts of Doom Eternal even less. Over time, I started to get bored because it didn't feel like the Doom I liked so much, and then my perception shifted a little bit, and I started to like Doom Eternal for what it is. So while I enjoyed it, you may not, depending on what you liked about Doom 2016. In the case that you're new to Doom, I'd say you should watch some live streams of it before buying. It's much different than many other shooters out there. All that said, I hope you enjoyed this stream of consciousness and semi-coherent ramblings. If you liked this video, then I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. I've included a link to my written thought salad post in the description just in case you're interested. And if you didn't like this video, then I don't know, take your internet rage out on some demons or something. Thank you for watching, and take care.
See Jessica in HR and sign up now for the UAC Mortally Challenged Blood Drive. Be generous, give your blood. Give all of your blood.